Multiple rounds of storm systems will be impacting the West Coast over the next several days, with heavy rain, heavy mountain snow, and just high winds. And as well as along the East Coast here, highly impactful events going on. And good morning. My name is Tim Ealer, meteorologist. Hope you're all doing well today. Hope you have a great start to your week. And like my video if you like it, subscribe, and if I appreciate all your support. Currently, we have heavy rain. Well, not heavy rain. Some moderate to heavy rain along the west coast. Not overly impressive this morning. And not a lot going on right now, but in the future, of course, we talked about this. Heavy rain along the west coast with a brief reprieve, and then another few systems moving through the northeast with potentially significant um, moderate impacts to the area. And then towards the end of the period, a longer term, gonna have a pretty strong cold front. Looks like gonna push through towards the end of the year. So, but right now, just some rainfall out west, some freezing rain and snow in the Midwest here, and a little bit of overrunning precip here in the Northeast this morning. As far as temperatures go, you can see where the coldest temps are up north here, single digits, right on the border. Overall, not very cold. But you see how warm it is down in Texas, still near 70 degrees here. You can see where the dividing line where the cold air is here. And I'll pull up my Epic pen, my pen here, so I can draw on this. Generally see where the cold air is here, right? So still South Texas. We talked about this yesterday. Above normal. Continues to be that way. So as far as current wind speeds, we have some pretty gusty winds along the west coast, 20, 30 miles per hour. Parts of the Midwest, Intermountain West, but overall, not overly windy. We have, not, I mean, 30, 40 miles an hour is pretty windy for overnight, but overall, not too bad this morning. So, what's the weather going to look like around the local area? I live in the Warner Robins, Georgia area. So, unseasonably warm holiday week ahead. Rapid warming trend will occur this week. So, nearly record temps, possibly breaking records. Um, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So the high temperature records are in low to mid 70s for most of the U.S. The Georgia. Um, Today highs 50s to the 60s, lows in the 30s and 40s. Tomorrow 60s, near 70 in Columbus, near 70 in Macon, Rome. Christmas Eve, high in the 70s statewide, pretty much to near 80. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all going to be in the 70s, with lows in the 50s. So approaching record temps here. A little bit more short-term outlook here. High in the 50s, like we talked about. Sunny skies, partly cloudy up north. Lows in the 40s tonight, partly cloudy. Tonight, tomorrow, highs near 70. Over a little above 70 to the south. Closer to 60 up north with more clouds. It looks like possibly a few showers in the northeast mountains. Right. So as far as a longer term temperature outlook, this has changed quite a bit, although there's still some uncertainty about the cold. Looks like there's going to be a cold front, a pretty strong cold front push through here towards the end of the month here, with lows way below normal, below freezing again, with highs. Not a lot of confidence for the 29th, but prior to that, you see the temperatures above normal. And then cold frontal passage warming up some. into the 60s, but not nearly as warm as it was before the end of the year. So, thought I'd go over the whole North American continent with the precip P-type map here. It helps people look at everything in general in the broad sense. You see this dark blue line is a 540 freezing line, which roughly represents the freezing line, okay? But in general it does, but it's not exactly where it's going to rain snow line is going to be. Okay, this is initialized, let's see, roughly about now. Moisture streaming on shore here out west. This will continue into Northern California and parts of the Northwest. You can see tomorrow midday we have snow in the Northeast, rain just to the south of the kind of bisecting the Mid-Atlantic. Low pressure offshore here out west. More moisture in Southern California. Very heavy rain going to be coming onshore. You see this storm roughly goes right up the coast here and brings more rain, and you have another low moving in the same direction here. Bring more rain and heavy snow to the mountains. This is Christmas Day, and pretty cold up north here with a strong low getting going offshore here. Maybe some back end snow with the system. You see the cold air wants to really hold on in the Northeast. You see the boundary here of cold and below freezing and above freezing temps. You know, another system moving in the flow here, potentially bringing more snow to the Mid-Atlantic with maybe some ice here. You know, Mountain West, just overall just rainy and unsettled weather. High pressure building in briefly. This boundary where this sets up, we could have potential for a relatively long duration event here. Then we get further out. You got high pressure that builds in briefly here to out west. You see the incessant rainfall just to the north of the continental U.S. A very strong system building in. But you see it's low pressure forms here, generally moves to the northeast. Mostly rain on the eastern side. 980 millibar low, very strong system. Cold air pushing to the south here. The system moves up to the north. 970 millibar low. Out west dries out briefly. But you see low pressure moves to the south here. It looks like a CAD wedge maybe building in here along the east coast. Northwest flow, and look at maybe snow along the coast here with cold air building in straight from the north here, interestingly enough. So we get towards the 1st of January and you get a warm up for a good portion of the nation again, with the exception of the Northwest. We got that persistent onshore flow here. If we look at the upper levels, relative vorticity, you can see what the flow looks like here. Step this back a little bit. System moving through the northeast today, moves offshore. Those systems move onshore, right, out west here. This other systems move through the northeast. The vorticity out west just hangs out there for a while. Maybe goes through the flow here, and you get towards the end of the period, you see this deep trough developing along the northeast. In the northeast, kind of gets sheared out, but hangs out there. And maybe another vort max dipping down south. And you can see out west here what's causing the cold air to push further to the south here. When we look at total precip with this model, with the European model, see the highest precip begins a period in the Northern California mountains, approaching 3, 4, 5 inches. This is 48-hour precip, guys. Then just offshore, and you get some in the northeast here. Not much anywhere else, but along the west coast. And then you have this atmospheric river that builds into the Southern California and moves up to onshore here. Remember, we showed that. And then you get further out in this period. That system moves to the northeast, the northern part of the United States. Then you have that onshore flow here up into Canada, and it builds southward, and that's where the most moisture is. Snowfall. Let's just do total snowfall here through the end of the period. Highest snowfall amounts, of course, up into Canada, the Cascades, Sierra Nevada, the Northeast Quarter, Mid-Atlantic, maybe some in the Appalachians, and maybe the Upper Midwest. Are you going to get a white Christmas in the New York area? Possibly. With the next event coming through, you could get up to maybe 1 inch of snow here. Not a hugely impactful event, but maybe some, as my friend Mitch West would call it, festive flakes here into New York area near Christmas time. Where's the most rainfall going to fall? Where's the most rain going to fall? Carson City, Downeyville, Quincy, all under a moderate risk of rainfall today. All San Francisco, Sacramento area, slight risk, and surrounding it, a marginal risk here. Reading, Lakeport, Salinas, Carson City, Susanville. For tomorrow, the threat spreads out a little bit as it starts to move south all along the coast of the California coast, down towards Los Angeles. Slight risk with a larger marginal risk. Day 3, we have a moderate risk of excessive rainfall right over the Los Angeles area, Temecula, Riverside, Santa Clarita, Oxnard, Santa Barbara, and Las Vegas area. Slight risk all the way up to San Jose, San Francisco, Sacramento, and the surrounding areas. Christmas Day, heavy rainfall expected along the California coast here. Slight risk of excessive rainfall again. Parts of Las Vegas, Flagstaff, Southern California, all along the coast, all the way up and towards San Francisco, Lakeport, Red Bluff, Redding, and then we get 5 days out, which is Friday. That threat is focused again in Southern California with a slight risk. Right around San Diego, close to Las Vegas. Going up to Sacramento. So quite a wide area here in the coming days. Thunderstorms. Could have some thunderstorms along the northwest coast today, along the Gulf Coast, southern Texas. The threat moves further south here tomorrow in the parts of California. Threat meaning just general thunderstorm. Day 3. You have thunderstorm possibilities here into the Los Angeles area, right along the coast, and in the California mountains. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as we get towards Wednesday here. Here's the latest graphic for the California atmospheric river event. This was issued yesterday, 9 a.m. Heavy snow likely in this white area. The biggest concerns: flash flooding. Possibly considerable flash flooding, especially across westward slopes of the northern Sierra Nevada foothills through Tuesday. Okay, landslides, rock falls, mudslides, all possible in the Southern California mountains. Prolonged heavy snow might lead to some snowpack issues with avalanches, landslides, and the travel through the passes may be impossible during this period through Sunday the 28th, which is a pretty long duration event here. Breezy to windy conditions are likely across the region, especially in the mountains where tree damage and power outages are possible. So keep that in mind if you try to travel during the holiday period here. And this is echoes kind of this the previous slide. We don't talk about Alaska that much, but when they talk about hazardous cold, it's gonna be brutal up here, and maybe I'll show you that here in a minute. But out west here, of course, heavy precip and snow all on the west coast here, with high winds in the Rockies here and right along the Front Range, expected on Christmas Eve. When we look at temperatures, this is a good representation of temperatures at the surface, right? And this is starting off yesterday, although let me see if I can get, this is interesting. This is 0Z from yesterday. Let me go to the GFS here from today. All right. Let's just start at 10 a.m. See the coldest temps, maybe 30, 40 below zero up here. Air temps, the coldest air relegated to the north. All right. Those cold temps stay up there. See the brutally cold temps in Alaska maintain themselves here, and that builds, right? Get further towards the end of the period, you still have brutally cold temps up in Alaska here, and that's what we're talking about. You see how warm it is here in the all the way up in Ohio Valley. It may be a cat wedge towards the end of the period here. Let's go back to the 0Z GFS. Cold air building up to the north there. I know this is kind of glitching out. This model definitely brings cold temperatures to the northeast briefly, to the northern tier of the U.S., and a cold push to the west here. But overall, cold temps stay out of the south, really, really cold temps, at least from this model's perspective. Yeah, GFS really doesn't want to bring the cold air farther south, so we'll see what happens here. Alaska. Usually when Alaska is colder, the rest of the U.S. stays warmer, or the western U.S. may get colder, but eastern U.S. stays warmer. So we're just going to see how this plays out, guys. So the day to 14 outlook, risk of heavy precip along the west coast. We talked about this on the northwest coast towards the end of the period. Snowfall, 1229 through 1/4, mostly relegated to the northern part of the U.S. and to the Intermountain West, northern high plains, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, parts of Colorado. Okay. Wind, same thing here. Persistent pattern with this La Nina type La Nina pattern going on, onshore flow out west. No hazardous temperatures expected except like we talked about in Alaska. Day 6 to 10 temps, still forecast to be above normal for most of the U.S. with the exception of the Northeast, Alaska, and maybe along the West Coast near normal. Precip is expected to be above normal out west here, maybe moving into the plains, focused in the desert Southwest now, below normal to near normal in Alaska and above normal in Hawaii. Temperatures in Hawaii have just been warm, above normal for a long time here. 8 to 14 days. Temperature outlook. Below normal temperatures, most likely here in Alaska, along the west coast here to near normal, above normal for most of the U.S. So the Climate Prediction Center is doubling down on the above normal temps here. Although the European is maybe showing a cooler push towards the end of the period for my area. We'll see. Near normal in the northeast, that cold air, cooler air hangs on here. And out west, of course, we have the incessant onshore flow. Below normal precip chances all along the East Coast and near normal and above normal into Florida. And these precip chances, chances above normal precip moves further east. In Hawaii, you have above normal precip chances still. And in Alaska, it's kind of split for that state. Wait 3 to 4 temps. This was issued the 19th, be issued again on the 26th. Above normal expected, at least for this outlook, the 3rd through the 16th for most of the continental U.S. Equal chances in the white area, below normal up north. And rinse and repeat, West Coast, above normal chances of precip. Upper Midwest, above normal chances. South, below normal. Above normal for Hawaii, equal chances and below chances in the southern Alaska. All right. Of a precip this far out. That's all I got for today, guys. Hope you all have a great day. Stay safe out west. Just some really bad conditions out there, especially traveling during this holiday season, and God bless.